CHYM 96.7 presents the John Tesh Radio Show, Intelligence for Your Life.
Welcome to Intelligence for Your Life. John Tesh with you. Have you been cooking a lot lately, you and your family? Well, here's a little encouragement to keep doing it. Keep it up. Keep cooking. Turns out you'll enjoy the food more. Scientists at the University of Cologne in Germany have found if you make a meal yourself, you will think it tastes better. And people also rate healthy food as more satisfying when they make it themselves. So go ahead. Make healthy meals for yourself. You'll not only think they're tastier, you will eat less because meals made at home typically contain 140 fewer calories than ones we order from a restaurant.
Intelligence for Your Life.
And coming up, what's the key to a happy, long-lasting marriage? I'll explain why the journal Personality Relationship says keeping your relationship strong may be as simple as saying thank you to your partner more often. We'll prove it next. This is CHYM 96.7, and I'm John Tesh. Directly from our relationship files, here we go with a simple strategy for having a happier marriage or any relationship. Say thank you more often. That's it. And whenever your partner does something nice for you, make sure you tell them you noticed and appreciate it. According to a study in the journal Personal Relationships, the more we show gratitude in our marriage, the happier and more valued our partner will feel. And even if you and your partner argue regularly, bicker, your gratitude may be the one factor that saves your relationship. Sounds simple, right? Maybe too simple, but the psychologists who led the study say, don't miss this, one of the top reasons couples break up is they get into what's called a, quote, negative conflict pattern. One partner makes a demand, the other gets defensive, withdraws in some way by silently holding on to resentment. Researchers say when partners feel valued by each other, they're significantly more likely to stay committed to the relationship, even if they argue a lot. The research shows that gratitude counteracts the effects of negative communication. Again, no matter how long you've been married, remember this simple strategy for staying together. Say thank you a lot.
Intelligence for Your Life with John Tesh.
Coming up, we're going to talk about constant checkers. Constant checkers are people who check their phones constantly. And today, the American Psychological Association wants us to know what they've discovered about this constant checking and what it does to our brains. Stand by. Welcome back to Intelligence for Your Life. John Tesh with you. Are you a constant checker? You're probably stressed out then. This is the conclusion of the American Psychological Association, which finds people who check their phones constantly, dubbed constant checkers, are a 6 on a scale of 0 to 10, with 10 being stressed to the max. So how do you know if you fall into the constant checker category? Here we go. Here's the test. Ask yourself this. Do you check your phone when you wake up? During meals, when you're waiting in line, at your desk, in the bathroom, on weekends, before bed, when you wake up during the night? Doesn't everybody? If you said yes to a majority of those, the experts say then you and I are constant checkers. The APA surveyed over 3,500 people about how often they check their phone. Those who said they checked their phones regularly but not constantly scored an average of 4 on the stress scale. But the people who admitted to constantly checking their phones for personal and work use, even during days off, they bumped the figure up to a 6 on the stress scale. That wasn't the only survey finding that raised red flags for psychologists. 45% of parents said they felt disconnected from their families, even when they're sitting in the same room because of technology and checking. And 42% of survey respondents said political and cultural discussions on social media viewed on their phones caused them extreme stress. So what do we do? Well, the survey also found that 65% of us think some time away from our gadgets or a digital detox might help our stress, but only about 20% of us have ever bothered to try it. I've never tried it myself. So our experts are saying it's time to find a middle ground, like maybe making Sundays or bathroom time off limits to technology. Are you with me? Let's start small, see if our checker stress status doesn't back off a little.
Online at intelligenceforyourlife.com.
The John Tesh Radio Show on CHYM 96.7, Kitchener's Christmas music station.
John Tesh back with Gib Gerard. And Gib, this is right up your alley. When athletes are under extreme pressure, they use mental tricks so they don't get overwhelmed in the moment. Here are a couple of tricks from sports psychologists. First is from psychologist Joseph Parent. He says, studies show that the parts of the brain that are used when thinking about a task are the same ones used when you're actually doing it. So visualize a good performance.
Well, it's important for everything. So you used to talk about this when you would cover ski racing. You would watch the guys that would win, and they wouldn't do the most training runs. They would do a few. They'd warm up. You got to take care of your body. But what they would do is they would visualize the whole race exactly how it was supposed to go and visualize themselves winning and making every turn properly, and that's how they got it done. This is one of those things where your subconscious mind is so powerful. I'm not convinced we don't live in a simulation and our subconscious mind is actually able to project into the simulation.
Yeah. And then find some focus words that work for you. Wayne Hollowell is a psychological coach for Olympic skaters. I've seen his book. He says you should ask yourself, what do I want to achieve? If you want to stay open-minded on a date, your keyword might be open. Or if you're running a 5K, it might be steady. He says those focus words.
This has been, if you went to high school, and I think all of us did, this is what, even you weren't on the football team and you saw those words up in the weightlifting gym and in the locker room, it was so that the football team would have these single mantras that they could focus on, these single words that would give them the sort of perspective that they knew that they had to approach the game with. It gets them of like mind so that they are able to accomplish what they set out for. Like, that's the beauty of football, is how much of all one direction everybody's pushing, that you can harness that for yourself by giving yourself that one word focus.
The tricks from sports psychologists.
This is the John Tesh Radio Show.
CHYM 96.7.
So the optimal state to be in at work is relaxed yet alert, right? So here's how to achieve that. Enjoy a mug of black or green tea. They both contain the amino acid L-theanine, and according to Oxford University, L-theanine increases alpha brain waves, which are linked with feeling relaxed yet alert. And in the study, people who had a dose of caffeine and L-theanine from tea felt less tired, had increased attention and memory. The L-theanine in tea leaves has a calming effect on the body, which helps reduce stress. It also improves brain function and focus. And a splash of milk and a spoonful of sugar will not affect the results. So, when you need to calm your nerves and simultaneously sharpen your concentration, have a mug of black or green tea. This is the John Tesh Radio Show on CHYM 96.7. Making you the smartest person in the room. Welcome to the John Tesh Radio Show, Intelligence for Your Life. Would you like to be more likable and make a terrific, great first impression? You just need to do one thing. Believe that you're likable. Yeah, research from the University of Waterloo calls it, quote, the self-fulfilling prophecy of anticipated acceptance. In plain English, that means if you think other people are going to like you, they usually will. Because when we think other people will like us, we act more naturally and come across as friendlier, which then makes people like us more since we tend to like warm, friendly people. And beyond just believing you'll be accepted, try this guaranteed strategy that'll ensure almost anybody will like you. Give a genuine compliment. The researchers say everybody loves to be praised because nobody gets enough praise. If you don't know whom you'll be meeting beforehand, ask questions like, what is it like to do what you do? What's hard about it? What do you love about it? You'll soon find things to compliment. That makes people feel important, and they're going to love you for making them feel that way.
You should share this on Facebook, The John Tesh Radio Show.
And coming up, do you have a bottle of wine you've been saving for a special occasion or an outfit you've been waiting to wear? It's time to put on that outfit and drink that wine. I'll tell you why. When we save something for a special occasion, the special moment is less likely to arrive. Stand by. John Tesh with you for Intelligence for Your Life. Here's a quick tip. If you have a bottle of wine you've been saving for a special occasion, or you have an outfit you've been waiting to wear for a big night out, stop saving them. Drink the wine, wear the outfit. Why? A study in the Journal of Marketing Behavior found that when we hold off for the ideal time to indulge ourselves, that time never comes. The study authors call this quirk occasion matching. It makes us scared we'll use up a special thing before the perfect occasion arises. And although it's typically hard for us to delay gratification, once we slap a special label on something, we have an attitude shift and practice too much delayed gratification. And the more special the item is, the more we'll hold out for just the right moment to enjoy it. It's the same reason we'll hoard vacation days, waiting to take the ultimate trip, or we don't use gift cards because we want to wait until we find just the right thing. But then we end up wasting vacation days, and the gift card sits in a drawer. The researchers say waiting for the perfect moment prevents us from enjoying the moments we're living right now. Open the wine. Put on the outfit. Use your vacation days. Light that special candle. I promise you'll enjoy those special things more now than waiting for a perfect time that may never come.
Intelligence for Your Life.
Facebook.com/John Tesh.
And coming up, do you ever struggle to regulate your mood? Like one day you feel hopeful and happy and the next day you feel anxious and agitated? There's now a new term for this. It's called emotional inflammation. And in a moment, I'll have the techniques you can use to short circuit this emotional inflammation in your life. Hey, let's be honest. A lot of us feel like we're struggling to regulate our moods every day, right? It's like an emotional whiplash. One day you feel hopeful. Next day you feel despair over continuously disturbing events. We go from feeling agitated to withdrawn. Well, there's a new term for this coined by psychiatrist Dr. Lise Van Susteren. It's emotional inflammation. The good news is Dr. Van Susteren says we can take steps to relieve or short circuit our reactions. Here are a few things to try. Dr. Van Susteren says to take time every day to relax your body and mind with meditation, yoga, or deep breathing especially. And put yourself on a media diet. I love this idea. Limit how much you engage with TV news and social media so your brain won't be hijacked by disturbing messages all day long. Listen to the radio. We'll be here to encourage you, not to scare you. Also, reduce your intake of stimulants like caffeine, which can heighten stress reactivity, and increase your intake of calming foods that contain magnesium. How many times do we talk about magnesium? Nuts, seeds, spinach, bananas, whole grains. Dr. Van Susteren also recommends taking a walk in nature, also known as forest bathing, immersing yourself in a hobby, or reading books that capture your imagination. Researchers found all of those things are associated with lower blood pressure, more positive moods, a greater sense of calm, and a buffering effect against stress. If you want to go further, it's a great book, Emotional Inflammation, by Dr. Lise Van Susteren.
Intelligence for your life with John Tesh.
Intelligence for your life. This is the John Tesh Radio Show.
On Chime 96.7.
John Tesh now with Give Gerard. We were talking about this earlier. Your question is, would you ask your boyfriend or girlfriend to sign a relationship contract? A lot of people are doing this. Couples who sign a contract say the contracts encourage boundary setting, fair fighting, and compromise. So, but some people do go too far. Some of them are saying that one couple negotiated how much time can be spent watching news, limited sports viewing to one game a week, stuff like that.
Wow.
Sure. You would go for that, right?
So here's the thing. Look, at its core, I think this is a good thing. What you're doing is what this is you're talking about your expectations, and you're talking about your commitment to each other and what that level is as you go into the more serious phase of the relationship.
Right.
And that's always going to be good. Putting it in writing and negotiating it seems a little uncomfortable to me.
Yes, yeah.
It seems like why we don't have to make it a contract, but these are good things to discuss. So
you already had your game this week. Your one game this week.
Yeah. So I think remembering that people are human, but having a discussion about expectations and boundaries is always going to be good. So I applaud it for that. I don't think I would ever do this, but I applaud the spirit.
IFYL. Intelligence for your life.
All right, my friends, here we go. How to eat some not so healthy foods so they can actually help you instead of harm you. Am I starting to find a lot of pieces about food and snacking? Yes, I am. Okay, so first, go ahead and put real cream in your coffee. According to nutritionists at Popular Science magazine, people who eat full-fat dairy, they do tend to have less cardiovascular disease. You're like, what? How does that work? The fats in real cream, they're more filling. The microbes in cultured dairy products, they boost your metabolism. That's how that works. If you're going to eat sweets, and I am going to do that, eat them instead of drinking them. Ooh, this is deep. It's harder to feel full from liquid calories. Plus, the act of chewing, it prompts your body to decrease production of hunger hormones. So even if a slice of cake and a caramel mocha latte have equal amounts of sugar and calories, the cake is going to be more filling and even more satisfying. One more thing. If you're going to eat bread, eat it for dessert. This is good. Studies have shown eating a high-protein meal with all the carbs at the end will cut your blood sugar spikes right in half compared to eating them up front. It's because a protein-rich meal boosts production of insulin and incretin, which can get your body ready to digest the glucose from that bread, which you're ending with, aren't you?
Intelligence for your life.
Facebook.com/John Tesh.
From our health and wellness files, did you know that acupressure is now practiced at hospitals around the country as a way to target and eliminate pain? If you want to try some acupressure on yourself, I have some tips from Dr. Janet Schaefer from Duke Integrative Medicine. For nausea, press your forearm about 3-finger widths up from your wrist. That's the same point that's targeted by motion sickness bracelets. For a headache, pinch the webbed skin between your thumb and your index finger. I do this for my wife if she's having a migraine. It works. And for gas or constipation, rub your abdomen, but rub it in clockwise circles 150 to 300 times.
IFYL. Intelligence for your life.
CHYM 96.7. It's the John Tesh Radio Show. John Tesh with you, and it's time to talk about your brain. If you want your brain to work better all day long, just do this. Exercise in the morning, and I mean every morning, early. This is according to the University of Western Australia. They found that adults who engage in moderate intensity workouts in the morning have sharper brains the rest of the day. The scientists found that morning exercise elevated a protein called brain-derived neurotropic growth factor. I just like saying that. Brain-derived neurotropic growth factor, which helps neurons survive and thrive, and levels of that protein remained high for 8 hours after a morning workout. As a result, people who exercise in the morning have better concentration, attention span, executive function like decision-making, and working memory. So if you need to be at your best mentally, make sure you squeeze in that morning workout, and I will too.
Intelligence for your life with John Tesh.
Coming up, when the weather's cold, you may try to warm up by sipping a hot cup of coffee, cocoa, or even a hot toddy. But in a moment, I'll tell you why Cornell researchers say these beverages aren't the best way to heat up the body. I'll tell you what the researchers say we should drink instead to feel warmer. So during cold weather, a lot of us try to warm up with a hot cup of tea or coffee, right? But experts are telling us that may not be the best solution because caffeine, it could keep you from warming up. This is from Professor Dr. Alan Hedge at Cornell. He tells us drinking something warmer than your core temperature will make you feel about 3 degrees warmer, but you got to avoid caffeine. It's a diuretic. When you eliminate body temperature liquid from your system, you lose heat. So Dr. Hedge also advises against drinking alcoholic beverages like hot toddies. Yes, he says alcohol dilates blood vessels, which can make you feel warmer, but he says it also draws heat from your skin and extremities. And alcohol is also a diuretic. That's why deaths from hypothermia, they frequently involve alcohol. Is there a best hot beverage for cold weather? Anything decaffeinated, he says, like herbal tea or hot water with lemon, that'll work. But you're better off drinking something that includes calories from fat, which are quickly converted to heat. That means anything with milk. So hot cocoa or decaf latte. That's why it's a tradition during Himalayan winters to drink hot beverages made from yak butter. You can find that on Amazon.
Intelligence for your life.
Facebook.com/John Tesh.
And coming up, what can bridge the generational gap between boomers and Gen Z? Well, that's the aim of new classes being developed for high schoolers. I'll tell you what these classes involve and how they teach teenagers to relate to older adults. John Tesh with you, and there are now new classes being developed for high school kids that teach them how to relate to older people. Why would we need something like that? Because we're living longer. Lifespans are increasing. The population is aging. By the year 2030, 1 in 6 people in the world will be age 60 or older. So in New York City schools, for example, the largest school district in the U.S., teenagers are being taught how to relate to older people. They watch videos of their elders exercising so they can see that they're not all decrepit. They hang out with older people and learn how to talk to them without using the age-old labels baby boomers hate. So instead of calling somebody a senior citizen or elderly, they learn to refer to them as an older adult. And the idea came from high school students who were interns at New York City's Department for the Aging. So the interns pointed out how evil characters in kids' movies are often old, gray, and feeble like Cruella de Vil. And the goal is to add ageism lessons starting with middle schoolers. The curriculum, by the way, is helping. One student says the lessons have made her more patient with her grandma. And the hope is that kids will grow up to fight stereotypes and age discrimination in the workplace and beyond.
Intelligence for your life. This is the John Tesh Radio Show on CHYM 96.7.
John Tesh with Gib Gerard. And Gib, apparently we need to stop second-guessing our decisions, and there's a trick to beat this. You think about a decision while nodding your head yes. So nodding, of course, a form of self-validation. And the experts say our brain is influenced by our body language. So nodding yes will increase your conviction about your decision and boost your self-confidence instantly. I wonder if that would work while you're dating. Just keep nodding.
Just keep nodding and hope
while you're asking somebody out.
Hey, would you like to go on a date with me this weekend? And your head's bobbing around like, I did, but now you look like a bobblehead. These are like, this is all that stuff that we talk about all the time, where you trick your body into whatever it is that you're trying to. You can trick your body into whatever it is that you want it to do, because we have these brains. The inside of our brains are molded to a totally different wiring system than the part of us that does the thinking. So if you've made the decision, if you've done the good part, now you just have to convince the rest of your brain to do it, and you can hack that by just like smiling and nodding. It's crazy how this stuff works, but it's stand confidently, you'll be confident. Smile, you'll be happy. Nod, and you'll agree with yourself. It's so unbelievably fundamentally basic, and the fact that it works just shows that we have these tiny lizard brains that are just bad computers in the middle of our heads.
IFYL. Intelligence for your life.
Hey, intelligent people, are you craving a snack, but you don't want to worry about the potential weight gain associated with snacking? Then try one of these healthy snack options recommended by nutrition expert Dr. Luigi Fontana, which are proven to help satisfy cravings and prevent overeating. First, fill up a bowl with air-popped popcorn. Dr. Fontana says the sight of a pile of popcorn tricks your brain into thinking you're having a big snack, but you'll mostly just be eating stomach-filling fiber and air. Another healthy snack option is pistachios. According to the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition, people generally feel less hungry after eating just a handful of pistachios because the healthy fats and fiber in pistachios help keep your blood sugar stable. And then try taming your next snack craving with sauerkraut. Dr. Fontana says fermented foods like sauerkraut contain a type of bacteria proven to reduce our appetite. And with only 27 calories per cup, sauerkraut provides a super low calorie way to snack now and then forget about eating for hours.
This is the John Tesh Radio Show.
All right, I want to hip you to some crucial germ intel from our friend, germ expert and microbiology professor, Dr. Charles Gerba. And we've talked about this before, but the good doctor, Dr. Germ, is still testing this stuff. Here's how gross he says it is to flush the toilet with the lid up. He says even though you can't see it with the naked eye, every time we flush, the germs spraying out look like a 4th of July fireworks display. It's called the aerosol effect, says Dr. Germ, and it showers everything within a 3 to 5 foot radius with germs and viruses. So can you get sick from it? Yep. Dr. Gerba says you could actually get physically ill from keeping the lid up while flushing. Scientists say even with a low-flow toilet, the aerosol effect is still there, and hundreds of thousands of little droplets are still spewed into the air. No matter what type of toilet you're using, make sure you keep the lid down.
IFYL. Intelligence for your life.